Hey, Eric.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Going pretty good. Happy to have the whole family home. Back together. Had a nice family dinner tonight. Ready for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, we ended up going down to visit my family. Yeah, we're currently in Sacramento, California. So,
all right.
Been touring, taking my kids around to see where I grew up.
The old stomping grounds.
Yeah, my old stomping grounds, my old high school. The houses that I lived in as a little kid, they've changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Taking them around. And one of the things we did, because I thought it would be interesting to go do, is actually my something fun. So I will hold off to talk about that until my something fun.
Okay. That's okay. That's good. A little foreshadowing.
It's great. We toured around old Sacramento. Like I said, just kind of visited a bunch of spots, some ice cream shops that are kind of local ice cream shops because, you got to get ice cream when you're somewhere.
Oh, sure.
And then took the kids to get some really good Mexican food, and it was fantastic.
Oh, yum. Okay. That's good. Yeah, I've had a long, seems like kind of a long week so far, but so I drove down. I needed to work all day Monday. I was just very busy, and yet we needed to bring my son home. And so I looked at the options, and I basically drove down Sunday and then got a hotel room for 2 nights and then worked all day from the hotel room on Monday morning, or Monday all day, and then Tuesday morning, and then picked him up, after lunch on Tuesday and headed back home. So,
nice.
So I had a bit of a trip, and I considered leaving late on Monday and driving home, but I really didn't want to go over the mountains in the dark and in snow. So I was happy to have all-wheel drive, but I was happier to do that in daylight. So,
well, so you've mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned on the podcast, you mentioned to me before that you really love the, what is it? Automatic, what is it? Assisted cruise control? What's it called?
Adaptive cruise control.
Adaptive. Thank you. Adaptive cruise control. The rental car we have has adaptive cruise control, and I had never. This one is the one like yours where it'll go down to a full stop,
0,
and then keep going. Yeah, it'll go down to 0, as opposed to when other cruise controls, once they get down below a certain speed, they just turn off. And I tell you, stop and go traffic through California is awesome,
right?
with
right?
That.
It's
like one of those things where it's like, if I get another car, this is going to be high on the priority list.
Okay. So can I tell you another silly thing that is on my list?
Mm-hmm.
Because I obviously I haven't bought myself a car for a very long time, although clearly we bought a couple other cars. So the first time I saw this was in a friend's, I think it was a BMW or something like that. But it was they've got cameras on enough sides that they can give you like a top-down view of the car.
Right. Yeah.
I thought the first time I saw that it was the dumbest thing ever. Like, okay.
And now?
It is so freaking awesome. I totally so we have that in my wife's car, and it is it's because the dumb thing is it's so you can see the lines on the when you're parking.
Right.
Like you can,
you're
like,
spot.
I am perfectly.
You don't have to stop and open your door.
Yeah. I'm perfectly in between the lines. I'm perfectly, front to back, side to side. Anyway, every once in a while when I'm parking now, I'm like, gosh, where's that view? So anyway, I mean, I thought I was getting spoiled by having a backup camera. I feel like that, that's kind of like the height of luxury. But now it's like, oh, well, how about all these other things? Anyway.
Right. Nice.
But yeah, adaptive cruise control is very cool. Yeah. So, I don't know. Going to be a lot of driving this week because I'm now. So we have tickets to see. I don't know what they're actually calling it, but it's at the Oregon Symphony this Saturday night for the music of John Williams. I'm super excited about it. So really looking forward to that. But since we have tickets for Saturday night on that, and since I'm actually traveling next week on Monday, I have to drive down and back in one day on Sunday.
Oh.
Which is not going to be an awesome day to be on the road.
No.
In either direction. So my plan is
audiobooks, podcasts.
Oh yeah. No, trust me. I have plenty of stuff to amuse myself. It's just that it's going to be a long day. So my plan, plan is to make my son pack the night before, wake him up, crack of dawn on Sunday morning, and you can sleep in the car, and I will drive for the first however long, until we get far enough out, and then I'll make him drive for a bit. Honestly, It was really nice coming home because as soon as we got over the hill, I was worried about snow, and I've driven in the snow a lot, but he hasn't. But we got down off the hill we actually came the southern way, Medford, got down off the hill, and I was like, all right, your turn. Once we hit I-5, he started driving and I took a nap. It was nice.
Nice.
But anyway, it's all good. But looking forward to Thanksgiving. You
have family coming in town or just you?
Nope, just us, just the immediate family. I think we'll have guests for Christmas, but not for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
I am going to be a mentor for another 8th grade project this year, though. Not a trebuchet this time.
Right.
But for beekeeping, which is honestly probably a little more up my alley than trebuchet building. But how
do you beekeep in winter?
Well, isn't that the trick? Yeah. No, it's gonna be some book learning because there's a paper on it, and then probably building equipment is what I expect.
So makes sense.
We haven't quite figured all that out yet, but anyway, we'll get there.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. Well, how about topics tonight? Been a pretty crazy week, I gotta say.
I think your topic would be the topic of the hour, and so mine. I'm bringing mine up because I have 2 family members who both asked me about this.
Okay.
Both these family members are involved in commercial real estate.
Okay.
And they both kind of said, "Hey, have you heard about Fidelity National Financial? It's one of the 4 companies overall that provide title, insurance, and settlement services for mortgage, real estate, etc." Well, apparently they were the victim, and quoting here, of a cybersecurity incident that impacted certain FNF, Fidelity National Financial systems. The company filed a report with the SEC, as they're supposed to, that it has launched an investigation and hired, quote, leading experts to help alert law enforcement and implement certain measures to assess and contain the incident. Now, this is actually brand new as of hours ago. This is Wednesday, so it was, I think, this morning that it broke out. And that's when, it's getting the holiday season and hanging out with my brother-in-law. He's like, "Hey, have you heard of this?" Because I know he's in the commercial real estate business. And so I'm like, "No, but here's my guess. Just based on the little data that we have, here's probably what's going to happen. Let's see how it plays out." So maybe this is a follow-up article for next week.
Pre-follow-up?
Yeah. So anyways, apparently this big company, and he's worried because he says, "I have clients and customers that I have submitted, their financials because they need that and they control a lot of this financial data." And so if that has been either ransomware or outright stolen, it could be pretty bad for quite a few people. So we'll see what happens over the next little bit on on what this actually was. So
well, and so it'll be interesting to kind of see the follow up. But there's a new regulation that companies have to disclose within 4 days, I want to say, that they become aware of a breach.
Yeah.
Gosh, now I'm going to have to go because something came across my feed. I didn't think about it for the podcast here, but maybe I'll try and think about it for next week. I read or heard something about people then using that as essentially extortion, because for companies that they had hacked but that hadn't disclosed.
Right.
So no good deed goes unpunished.
Yes.
So prepare.
Among my favorite quotes, that's one of them.
Prepare for the next unexpected consequences of choices. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, in the shortened Thanksgiving week, not really paying attention news, this one caught my attention because it was brought up by a couple different family members.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure we've used Fidelity before. Maybe a couple times. Anyway, I'm sure they all have our money or our info.
Data. They have all the data.
All the data.
Yeah.
Well, so I was torn for what to do today. I almost thought that maybe the Sam Altman saga should be something fun. But
he works for OpenAI. He doesn't work for OpenAI. He works for OpenAI. He's Schrodinger CEO.
Exactly right. Oh, I don't know. I haven't actually read a single article. I've read a bunch of and now this is happening. But anyway, maybe there'll be a summary that says this is how things went down. Actually, Anyway.
Yeah.
But
so what I have read a few articles on it.
Yeah.
And I know, the ones I read were apparently he and the board have been bickering, and those aren't my words, for over a year on, the consequences of AI. And I guess in the last week, 4 of the 6 board members decided that he was not being forthcoming and open with some of their requirements and not allowing the board to do their job, their fiduciary and whatever, leadership duties. And so they ousted him. And then he was left. I think 700 of the OpenAI employees said, so he was the CEO. The president, who was also his friend, resigned immediately in protest. Uh-huh. And then 700 employees all signed letters saying, bring him back or we're all walking.
And they only have they don't
800 employees.
I was going to say it was 700 of not much more than 700
of 700 almost. And Microsoft, who is OpenAI's largest,
they own 49%
investor. Yeah, something ridiculous. Basically went to him and hired him.
Yeah,
said, "All right, we're going to hire you and everybody," and then told everybody at OpenAI, "Come work for our new AI division here at Microsoft under Sam Altman." And then, the next day, half the board was now removed, replaced with other folks, and Sam Altman was put back in as the CEO. So it's it's still a developing story, let's say.
That's kind of why I was still it sounds like you've read some more than I have that have some of the the internal reasons. I feel like the stuff that I had seen along those lines was more conspiracy theory, not fact based. Yeah. I'm not saying that the stuff you read haven't. Because I haven't. I've also kind of been busy here. So it was early on.
Yeah, my source was the New York Times, which doesn't guarantee that there's not some conspiracy information in there. But it seemed to be a reasonably reputable source.
Good. Okay. Well, I do not subscribe to the New York Times, so I occasionally people send me links, and I'm like, yeah, I can't read that. Anyway. Okay, so in absence of that being a topic, which it kind of was, I'll have to see if I can dig up a link. the story I chose was crypto comeuppance, perhaps. So I don't know if
the next domino.
If you saw this. Yeah. So remember when FTX was going under, there was some thought that maybe they would be bought out by Binance, because Binance is the largest crypto clearinghouse in the world. Something like 60% of transactions go through them. But so the Justice Department has reached a settlement with Binance and with the CEO, Zhao, to plead guilty for a number of items, and I'll go through those in a second here, and force him to step down and not be associated with the company anymore. So, he personally is going to have to pay like a $200 million fine, and then the company itself is going to pay something along the lines of $4 billion. But anyway, so let's see. So here's some of the stuff about it. So let's see. So Binance, founded in 2017. Zhao was a Canadian, or is a Canadian national. And so the U.S. accuses them of running, quote, an illegal exchange for unregistered securities in the United States. They sued Binance in June, the Securities and Exchange Commission, saying the company, quote, ran an extensive web of deception, conflicts of interest, lack of disclosure, and calculated evasion of the law. So this is one of the things I loved. It says Binance has long argued it isn't subject to U.S. laws because it doesn't have a physical headquarters in America. And Zhao claims that the company's headquarters are wherever he is at any point in time. So, quote, and here's the quote, reflecting a deliberate approach to attempt to avoid regulation, according to a complaint by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. So, yeah, wherever you are, there it is. So let's see. It says, as part of a coordinated settlement, Binance agreed to pay more than $4 billion in fines and other penalties. Zhao, one of the most powerful figures in crypto, has agreed to step down as CEO and will pay $200 million in fines. So Binance admitted to engaging in anti-money laundering, unlicensed money transmitting, and sanctions violations. Authorities allege Binance allowed bad actors to freely transact on the platform, enabling everything from child sex abuse and narcotics to terrorist financing for ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and Hamas's Al-Qasim brigades. Mm-hmm. So, let's see. The proposed consent order. So, Binance will disgorge $1.35 billion of, quote, ill-gotten gains and pay a $1.35 billion civil monetary penalty to the CFTC. I don't know if that's Canadian FTC or I don't know what's CFT.
Commodities Future Trading Commission. I don't know.
Oh,
I assume it's a U.S. one. If this is
it is. It is a U.S. thing, but he's a Canadian citizen. And anyway, so here's the quote from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. Binance turned a blind eye to its legal obligations in the pursuit of profits. Its willful failures allowed money to flow to terrorists, cyber criminals, and child abusers through its platform. So, and there were other quotes in the article. I'll put a CNN article in here at the moment about, essentially now the top two crypto exchanges have had suits brought against them. So and there's actually been a couple of other. There's been a couple of others too. Yeah, I mean, for you in particular, although the let's say business models that crypto has enabled in the criminal space is not awesome. So
yeah,
whatever you think of crypto as a cryptocurrencies, I should say, as a novel item, the side effects have not been great, let's say.
No.
So there you go. That was the happening. I think the article was dated yesterday. So I don't last night is when I first saw that. So there you go.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right.
How about something fun?
Well, my something fun is not particularly fun, I suppose.
Oh, one of those, is it?
Getting back, yeah, it's one of those. No, but because my whole family is here, I took them up to the Oroville Dam. And I don't know if you remember, back in 2017, the Oroville Dam is the largest earth-filled dam. I don't know if it's in the world or just the U.S., but it's near my hometown where I grew up.
Okay.
And in 2017, it had a catastrophic failure due to excessive rains that had occurred in Northern California at the time. And the pictures are just devastating. And if you go out and search YouTube for Oroville Dam failure, you'll get lots of videos on what was going on. They were evacuating like my hometown and all the towns around because this dam holds massive amounts of water, and it almost failed to the point that because of at least the general consensus is, I'll put it this way, is the state did not properly fund repair and maintenance of the dam over the years and kept getting its funding cut to the point now, instead of several $100 million, I suppose, they now had to spend, I think, $6 billion to completely repair and replace the spillway and the overflow sections of the dam. And so I took my kids out. We drove across the dam, went to the parking lot, drove and saw the trucks of the new spillway, saw the kind of destroyed landscape where the water got diverted as it basically broke the spillway out of the dam, and all the overflow areas are now up to date. Anyways, it's doing much better now, but it's really some cool YouTube videos if you just Google for Oroville Dam failure. I'll link the Wikipedia article here, so you can, if you for the history of the Oroville Dam and what it supplies, and all the farming. I mean, this is Northern California, so a lot of whatever fruits and vegetables you eat probably come from somewhere in Northern California.
Watered by this.
And water held back by the Oroville Dam. So, anyways, that was my something
that
fun
year,
there.
or I think it was that year of the rains in California, and but the flooding. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember this specific incident. I'll have to watch some of the YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's just fascinating how water goes where water wants to go. There is no stopping water once it decides to go somewhere.
Water is very powerful.
Yeah, and it just stripped the landscape and was very much in danger of very bad things happening. So
yeah.
And now the state had to go spend large sums of money to completely repair something that, because they didn't pay the monthly maintenance fees.
Right.
So
right. Exactly.
There you go. That's my something fun.
There's a what is it? Penny wise, pound foolish.
Yeah.
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 Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. I want to watch some of those videos, but I will wait.
Yeah.
I will wait.
Alrighty.
Well, so, my something fun is a Scientific American article on Io, the moon of Jupiter. So Io is, you probably already know, the most volcanically active body in the solar system. It is, I don't know.
I think, funnily enough, my boy and I were just watching a YouTube video on this.
Oh, really? Oh, very cool.
I'll have to find the link and send it to you.
I at least, I don't know. I've been aware of this for years and years and years and years and years. And I think that in my lay person's understanding, it was that it has a bit of an eccentric orbit around Jupiter, and Jupiter, as you might be aware, is kind of massive, and that the gravitational pulls were what kind of causes the friction and the contraction and whatever the opposite of contraction is, compression, I guess, of of the crust and causes the volcanic activity. So, but in 2016, NASA sent a probe called Juno to polar orbit of Jupiter. So it's not actually, and one of the problems of the scientists is that there has not been a dedicated Io a probe or anything along those lines. But this study was able to be done based on data that they were able to get from Juno, just when Io was basically in frame, I guess, and monitor it. But the point, what they're trying to figure out is, so is the magma really deep or is the magma really shallow in Io? Is kind of seems to be the big question here. And the data that they've got here is indicative of shallow, because evidently the volcanic activity around the poles is not something we've had. That's one of the sort of new bits of data that Juno has been able to get that we hadn't had before. The visibility at the poles, and so the study here shows the volcanic visibility, or the volcanic activity at the poles is a fraction of what it is in the more temperate regions, which evidently, and I don't know the math or the geology behind this, but evidently that is indicative of shallow magma as opposed to deep magma.
Yeah.
So here's the sort of money paragraph. It says, in the new study, the authors surveyed 266 volcanic hotspots across the moon. The map showed that Io's lower latitudes were emitting 60% more volcanic heat per unit area than the poles. The best explanation of this dichotomy is that Io's tidal heating is mostly happening at shallow depths, either within a putty-like upper mantle or within a partly or fully molten ocean of rock just below the crust. I'm kind of leaning toward a magma ocean, Davies says, but evidence is not clear-cut. The positions of erupting volcanoes don't perfectly match the expectations of any heating hypothesis. Io is going to be a lot more complicated than these end-member models, Davies adds. So, it's not a done deal, but it is, new data. Let's see. Here's another chunk. We've been wanting to have this data set for decades, and it's finally here, says Catherine DeClear, a planetary scientist at the California Institute of Technology. The models differed as to where the melting is mostly occurring, whether it's down at the core mantle boundary or whether it's close to the surface. These two antipodal scenarios, I might be mispronouncing that word because I don't think I say that one out loud, hold distinct implications for where Io's volcanism ultimately emerges on the moon's surface. Predominantly deeper tidal heating would create profuse volcanism at the poles, whereas shallower baking would kindle volcanic fires at lower latitudes. So, interesting and cool. The models say this. What does the data say? It's not completely cut and dry, but certainly leaning one way, and that's there you go. Science is cool.
Have you started reading The Sunlit Man?
I have not started reading The Sunlit Man. I'm still reading another series.
This article reminds me of some of the interesting bits and tidbits from The Sunlit Man.
Oh, okay then.
There is a planet that they're on that is interesting. This reminds me of that. So there you go.
All right,
I will give you a teaser for when you. That's my Thanksgiving holiday book I'm reading right now. I'm about 2/3 of the way through.
I think I'm getting close to the end of my current book. I think I have one more in this series, but I do have the Sunlit Man audiobook. I think I can maybe I'll.
It's a pretty quick read. I'll give it that.
Maybe I can listen to it in the car on the way home.
There you go.
On Sunday. Yeah, we'll see. All right, my friend.
All right.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
Enjoy some time off and eat some turkey or ham or whatever it is that you're.
All of the above.
Exactly. Both. I must say, we can end on this note, but I asked my wife after dinner, I'm like, do you think that we have to wait until Thanksgiving to cut into the Costco pumpkin pie? And she said, no, I don't think we're eating that in one day. So I think we could totally cut into it tonight. I'm like, all right, good. So
Done.
I already had pumpkin pie before I came down here. Yeah. Yep.
Smothered with whipped cream, I hope.
Oh, of course. There's no other way.
Of course.
That is the way. All right. Happy
John.
Thanksgiving. Have a good one.
Yep.
Bye.
We'll see you. Bye.